And we made it to the extended. Welcome. It's Psyche Kai. We have the pop-up card, done card, confess, legal, online, divine feminine, talk card at the bottom of the deck, Queen of Wands, right? I already emphasized this in part 1 from TikTok. Using my Series 2 Chelsea Gomez deck and my Curious Travels Tarot. Welcome to your General Collective reading. The energy is being emphasized with the player energy that I was emphasizing in part 1. And it's interesting because it's not that you're playing with people, it's just this level of conceptualization of what it is that you're letting go of, what it is that you did in the past, and how it doesn't make sense to fault yourself. And then simultaneously being compassionate as you're moving forward and therefore evolving through love. This is expanding the jurisdiction that you have in your own space. And it's interesting because I started part 1 with like, guys, it's a love reading. It is a love reading, as it usually will be. With this energy, I'm trying to get comfortable. Anyways, yeah, this is coming through as you're learning to work with yourself so you can give yourself more peace, right? This energy also comes with being able to acknowledge your greatness, your light, what it is that you exude, and also just co-create with others because you inspire. So copycat energy has been coming through, people watching you, looking you up, seeing the records, like I was saying in part 1, trying to see your electrical footprint, like your electronic profile. And I say this in a sense of like almost like a job brand deal kind of energy, but it wasn't fully coming through as that because I feel like people just really want to connect with you. They want to know more about who you are and what it is that you represent. And so there is this kind of energy of you learned certain lessons that needed to end before you started to welcome in these blessings that have already been asked for. That is the energy. Like, this is a long time coming, of course, but it really feels like you understand, as like you are a part of my collective. Yes, but it's like you really do understand the importance of going at your own process and not rushing the progress that you are implementing yourself. And so therefore, why rush the things that you're recognizing are challenges, or things that you kind of feel resistant to, or even not even that, like nostalgic and melancholic about, like, like grief, sadness, those kinds of aspects of your experience as well. 6 of Swords, 6 is very significant. Card 17, the Star, 9 of Cups, 3 of Swords. Okay, so, whoa, 6 of Pentacles. 6s are very significant. Let's roll some dice. 6, 5, 4, or 14, 4, 4, 1, 4, 12, and 0. We have the Hierophant, card 5, and the Knight of Pentacles. 3s are also significant. So what initially was coming through with the 3 of Swords, it came out on top of the 6 of Cups. The 6 of Cups usually represents like childhood, nostalgia, kind of like the softness of a child, the impressionability of a child. Then fresh, like think of a fresh, what would you call that? Fresh portrait? What the fuck? Why can't I think of the word? What? Bro, I'm so confused. Like the thing that you draw on? Portrait? Yo, I'm tripping. Anyways, fuck. This 6 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, 6 of Cups is showing me that you're learning sometimes the pain that you're giving to others is also the pain that you're giving yourself. Therefore, the pain that you're giving yourself can be negated through your own unique choices of taking care of you. So in other words, being okay with not sharing the most vulnerable or even the most prevalent parts of your painful experience, like not sharing those things is also kind of a way that you've learned to honor yourself. It's a very interesting reading because I feel like you've also been in this space where you're seeing how you can interact with people on a very more cohesive, cooperative level. And also recognizing that you don't need to stay where you're at, because if it's something that you feel resistance towards naturally, it's kind of like a question of, am I going to challenge my comfort zone, or am I in need of a different trajectory in its entirety? This is very game changer, because I feel like you're learning through making different choices step by step, not rushing yourself. You're seeing how you can learn to build trust with you and your own intuitive discernment. This feels like you're seeing yourself clearly in that spiritual sense of your own spiritual body, you being a spiritual being experiencing the physical body. And so you're involving the importance of being active in this physical dimension, in the 3D realm. And it's funny because this didn't come from, and it's, I don't really need to go into that. Like, this didn't come from just like overnight success. This came from long endurance, transformation. It's actually quite grueling with the Six of Cups, Six of Pentacles, Six of Swords, right? Card 6, this card 6 is the Lovers, ruled by Gemini. And the Three of Swords being here with the Star, which is ruled by Aquarius. Like I was saying, I'm pretty sure in part 1, actually. Sus as fuck. It's so funny because it's like that. It's like you make a joke out of the fact that you have these skills that can notice your patterns. And you are very socially aware, but you kind of isolated yourself so that it nulled your senses. It dulled your senses, but nulled it. Like, I say this in a sense of like, not to veto the fact that you have it and something that could be offered. It's actually because of the fact that you don't need it to be that strong sometimes. And it's interesting because I do feel like, especially with the fixed air sign being here, fixed air sign is in its entirety something that's not meant to be controlled, but then is in itself a controlled aspect. So it's funny because the air element is not, it's the hardest element to control, wind, and it's something that needs to have its freedom. And you're learning to perceive this process, part of your process, part of perceiving yourself, not as a negative thing. And so it's almost like everything that you kind of used to be very hard on yourself, it's actually being very healed by this transition, this end of a cycle, really. Like, you transitioning into this newer version of you that you've already implemented, okay? This isn't like, oh, you're stepping into this new reality. No, this is something you've constantly been creating, okay? Like, I personally don't really like to plug into those things, but that's up to your own, right? So this energy is really coming through as like you've stabilized yourself, Nine of Cups. You have walked consistently into this direction of peace. You preserved your own personal peace. Four of Swords, Queen of Wands. This is something that's come from you, your consistency, your discipline. Three of Swords, Six of Cups, Six of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Star. The Star is ruled by Aquarius. Aquariuses are also an interesting sign to like learn more about because they actually rule the 11th house. They come after the structure. They come after the consistency of the Capricorn house, the 10th house. So your development, your innovation is from what you've already developed. So that's why I was saying in part 1, there is no way you could fault your past self for doing what it did, because you could not be who you are now if it wasn't for that past self. So why is it that we would hate who we are now due to the things that our past self did? Like, why would we hate our past self for doing things and therefore bringing it into this like present reality that is still just as good, just as sweet, right? Like, you have this ability to tap into this very grateful, graceful energy. There is this kind of like shadow aspect of yourself that's still being integrated, and it's not that it's heavy, it's just dark, okay? Like, it's unknown. So there is this kind of like, allow yourself to be graceful with your own expressions and needs to be met in this process as well, this presence. So I'm just pulling some clarifiers because I feel like there's just more. Three of Pentacles again. How very interesting. Yeah, the High Priestess. I guess I don't need to say anything else because we have the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck, right, in my Curious Travels Tarot, which is ruled by Taurus. We have the Moon card, or sorry, the Moon ruled card, the High Priestess, which is connected to Cancer, but I really do feel like Piscean energy is coming through as well. And just for the fuck of it, it's also just all of this water signs. Scorpio, Pisces, and Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. And so this energy, like I was saying, a conversation is going to be had. This is going to be kind of more serious and a little bit more about discerning where you're going to be able to give a lot to, and being able to also mitigate what avenues you can disperse that in. It's like when you sign a contract deal and you have all these opportunities, like connections that are going to be built, but you don't know who you're going to meet because it hasn't been set yet. But it's just a contract deal that you are signing because you're now part of this thing, right? So it's like that. You're getting more opportunities than what you realize, except it's you already know what the components are. So this is a very intentional manifestation that's happening right now. Yeah, what are some clarifiers? Can I get some? There's just this energy that's here, and I really feel like there needs to be more said. Please, please. Yeah, water signs at the bottom of the deck. Earth signs, winter energy. Sagittarius is coming through with it's a surprise. Oh, an offer, commitment. Yes. Something that you can be very consistent in. It's not necessarily something you're going to be over dependent on. It's interesting because you are going to also be reliable. You are, in an essence, reliable. But you being a part of this is showing how reliability is interchangeable. Like it can be reciprocal, mutualistic. And so water sign energy is interesting because earth sign is also coming out. So Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, extra emphasis on the Taurus energy. And it actually feels like this is very fueling. Like this is very grounding for some of you guys who have very strong water placements. For those who have very strong earth placements, it's going to be very emotionally fulfilling, emotionally stabilizing, and very regenerative in that sense. Like when you nervous system regulate, it's kind of like that energy, but with your emotional experience in its entirety. And it's going to be quite like shocking in that sense of like, whoa, like I'm literally just standing here like, what the fuck is happening? That kind of energy is coming through too. So winter season, Capricorn energy is very strong as well then, because Capricorn is during winter season. Yeah, Taurus season is going to start soon, depending on when you watch this video. I do feel like that's going to be a good idea of like a timeline thing, like when things start and really start to kick off, or like it's going to be a memory that you're going to forever remember, something like that. So that's just coming through. Anyways, thank you so much for allowing me to do this for you. If you'd like to book a personal, please go ahead and email me. I am going to just respond with all my available options in the process. So trust, I am right there for you guys whenever you need. But other than that, I'm sending you so much love, so much support on your own spiritual journey. Bye, Collective.